Hello, everybody. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo. And the other day somebody posted something on Facebook that got me to thinking. They said that they would never cruise on Carnival, that they would only cruise on Royal Caribbean. And the reason being is because they felt that Carnival was a dirty ship, that they never clean as well, and that whenever you hear of a norovirus outbreak, it's always Carnival. Well, a few days later, a funny thing happened. Royal Caribbean's Oasis of the Sea, which I believe is their biggest ship, it sails out of Port Canaveral, actually came down with the norovirus, one of the biggest outbreaks. Close to 300 people were infected. In fact, they were not able to go to their last port of call, and they went back to Port Canaveral. I believe they arrived there this morning. My parents, I'm actually from the Port Canaveral area, and my family still lives there. My parents had gone to a restaurant, and they saw that there were a lot of people sitting around the port area with their luggage and all. From what I gather, they're really cleaning the ship very well before anybody gets on it. And it is my experience, I have cruised on Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Disney, that all these ships are as clean as possible. That being said, they do still come down with a norovirus sometimes, and a lot of that is because of the people who were on the ship. They do not wash their hands, and they do not practice hygiene very well. And I'm going to talk about that. How we can avoid getting sick on a ship, and maybe even prevent us from getting sick starting before we even travel to our port to leave. So first thing is, what is the norovirus? Well, basically it's a fancy name for the stomach flu. If you have ever had vomiting and diarrhea, you've had the norovirus, because that's exactly what it is. And people think, oh, well, you just get that on the ships. That's not true. Yes, you can get them on the ships, but you can also get them at daycare or nursing homes or restaurants or, let's see what else. I have schools. Basically any place where there are a lot of people is susceptible to stomach viruses, or norovirus, if that's what you want to call it. And a lot of people, not just on the ships, but a lot of people throughout the world, all over the place, do wind up with the stomach flu every year. So, one of the things that we do when we first get on the ship, when we first get into our room, is I like to take those sanitary wipes and just wipe things down. Granted, our steward does a very good job on keeping things clean, but he is human, and who's to say that he didn't get distracted while he was cleaning our room, and then when he went back, he may have forgotten where he was, and maybe he skipped cleaning that remote control. So we go back behind him with our sanitary wipes, must have alcohol in them, that's what kills the virus, and wipe down things like doorknobs, light switches, the phone, the remote control, anything that may have been heavily used by other people that were in there before. The other thing that you need to do is wash your hands. I read an article recently and it said, wash your hands with soap and water and then wash your hands again. In other words, wash your hands. That is probably the most obvious and easiest way to keep from spreading or getting the norovirus. But sadly, well, there are a lot of people out there that do not wash their hands. And to me, that's pretty disgusting. When you do wash your hands, like for instance, when you go to the bathroom, please wash your hands. I see some of these people, these women that are dressed to the hilt. They look so nice. They go use the bathroom and then they walk on out. And it's like, you didn't wash your hands? Please wash your hands. Even if you're going to use sanitizer, please wash your hands. And when you do, use soap. And they say, lather for about 20 seconds, which is usually about the same amount of time as singing the happy birthday song. You don't have to sing it out loud, just sing it to yourself. And once you rinse your hands off, you get a paper towel and then turn the spigot off. Don't turn it off with your clean hands because, you just went to the bathroom and turned it on. And the person behind you and the person behind them, same thing. So that handle to turn the water on and off is probably pretty nasty. So use a paper towel to shut it off, throw that away. Get another paper towel and dry your hands off. And then when you walk out the door, use the paper towel to touch the door and then throw it in the trash. If I remember correctly, I think the bathrooms on the ships are all automated, except for maybe the door handle. You will have to touch that. But they have little napkins that you just pull out of this dispenser to touch the doorknob to open it up and use them. Also, throughout the ship, they have hand sanitizers. Whenever you see them, use them. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But I'm going to go back to the bathroom. If at all possible, they say try to avoid public restrooms. And I try to do that myself. But, sometimes we can't. When you got to go, you got to go. And just kind of practice those tips that I just talked about a few seconds ago. But if at all possible, use your own bathroom. Another thing, avoid the buffets. Think about it. You're in the buffet and you're going to pick up the tongs that the person in front of you who went to the bathroom a few minutes ago and didn't wash their hands just touched. I don't think I have to go on with that. There is a wide variety of other places to eat on the ship. I know on Carnival you have the Blue Iguana, and you have Guy's Hamburgers, and anyway, there's a lot of other variety places. Which still, if you're going to put any condiments onto your hamburger, you're still going to come into contact with having to touch things. But just use your hand sanitizers when you sit down to eat. Just take them and use them, even though you just washed your hands. And again, make sure it does have an alcohol base to it, because that is what kills the viruses. So whenever we go to dinner at night, we usually leave straight from our room. One of the last things we do is we go to the bathroom and wash our hands. We go right on up to the restaurant. And as you enter the restaurant, they always have a hand sanitizer dispenser. And I always use those. And I'm actually glad to see that a lot of people do. So, like I said before, anytime you see those hand sanitizer dispensers, use them. The next tip is, if you do happen to get sick, don't leave your room. Stay in your room. Keep the sickness in one spot, in one area. I know when my sister, when we were on the Disney cruise, when she got sick, she stayed in her room. And fortunately, the rest of us didn't get sick. I'm not for sure she actually had the norovirus. She wasn't running a fever or anything, but she did have other symptoms of it. We did not get sick. It may have been food poisoning, but at any rate, don't leave your room because you don't want to risk an outbreak of any type of sickness. Now, I was reading an article not too long ago about this very subject, and in it, it said, if you see anybody that's coughing or sneezing, to report them. Don't do that. I suggest you do not do that because more than likely, they are suffering from allergies. You do not cough and sneeze when you have the norovirus. It's just your stomach that's taking the brunt of the issues, so to speak. But I know personally, whenever I get around somebody that's wearing heavy perfume or cigarette smoker like that, I'll start coughing because I'm allergic to those things. I know some people start sneezing. If you are one of these people, make sure you sneeze into your elbow or, sneeze into something that's not going to spread the germs around because, you do have germs. and you don't want other people. I mean, I don't want other people's germs, so I'm sure they don't want mine. One of the things, though, I would like to talk to you about is what I do when I do have to go into these areas where it's highly smoke or perfume or something like that that does not agree with my system. And actually, this necklace I'm wearing, I made it. It's actually a lanyard that I'm going to be wearing for the cruise. But I have put a terracotta pendant on it, and it serves as a diffuser. So when I know I'm going to have to go through an area that maybe has a lot of smoke in it, I try to avoid it, but sometimes you can't. There's a couple of ships that you have to go through the casino in order to get from the front to the back of the ship. But I'll take, I love my Breathe oil from doTERRA, and I'll put a drop of this on there or on my hands, and then I walk through like this or smelling this. I started doing this about 3 years ago, and before I was doing this, I would get off the ship with a really bad cough. I had one time it lasted me over a year. But since I've been doing this, I haven't had any issues. So, you may find that certain oils or other things may help you to prevent from getting sick. Now, when we have about 119 days before our cruise, and I'm really starting to think about building up my immune system. I am actually putting myself on a better diet. Holidays are over with. We're into the second week of January, and it's time for me to put all the sugar aside and to start eating a little bit more healthy, and this will boost your immune system up. I know Airborne is a really good thing to start using too to build your system up. I don't know if I'd follow the instructions. I don't think you take it right now, but before you get on the plane a couple of days before, or the ship or whatever, start taking something like that. Personally, I like to take my On Guard. Starting my On Guard regimen is hopefully going to help me build up my immune system, along with, like I said, my healthier diet, my supplements, and exercise and getting enough sleep. Believe it or not, those are also important to building up your immunity. Anyway, if you have any other ideas to add to this, please let me know. I'm always eager to learn more about this type of thing, because when I travel, I like to feel good and be healthy. Anyway, this is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo signing out for now. Please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and most importantly, y'all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.